Hi guys, this is Dr. Lanier. I'm the founder of the Entrepreneur Dentist. It's actually entrepreneurdentist.com, not the Entrepreneur Dentist. So if you're looking for it online, it's entrepreneurdentist.com. I'm also the founder of Kids Dental Care. 14 offices, and we are primarily a Medicaid for kids dental care. California is called DentiCal, and it's been huge for us, even though California has been second or third from the lowest reimbursement in the nation. But we serve so many kids that it's been a lucrative business. But what I want to tell you about right now, think about it: 40% increase, a 40% bonus. And listen, kids dental care, it's like picking up diamonds in my backyard. To do what I've been doing and working on these kids is such a privilege to be able to help these kids and get rich at the same time. So what I'm doing now, I'm selling my kids dental care. I'm selling the whole thing, but now I'm here to mentor a lot of you young guys. And I guess with this new thing of raising the provider reimbursement by 40%, you'd say, well, wow, you got to be a fool to get out at this time. But I'm using that contrarian view where Warren Buffett talks about when everybody else is getting in, you should be getting out. But that was my exit strategy for a long time, and I've been practicing now for 34 years. So it's pretty good. Get out while you're at the top, make a lot of money. The stock has gone up tremendously. Right now the market is hot. Everybody's trying to get in. So I'm going to tell you how to make a hell of a lot of money in a short period of time doing this thing. First of all, you got to stay disciplined. You got to do it the right way. You can't go in. There's no easy shortcut to do this thing. You just got to follow rules and guidelines. And then there are two things I want you to remember: the law of large numbers and the law of probability. If you're doing this thing and you're doing it right, you don't have to cheat, because the law of probability says there'll be enough of these kids that come in that needs a lot of services that if you're good, you can provide. And that's so the law of probability right there. And if you see enough of them, you set it up so that you're in the right place, so that you see a lot of kids. Law of large numbers. You're going, and then if you can get to the point where you help other people set up so that they can see more, you're going to make even more money. So remember those two: the law of large numbers and the law of averages. Those two work for you. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a secret here. This is a secret to being very successful in business. Almost anything you think of, it's always the law of large numbers and the law of averages. That means you can, if you do it this way, the law of averages say you're going to win. But to increase DentiCal fees by 40% is a damn good thing. You can make a lot of money at it. Now, I'm telling you, the reason I'm giving this out, because it's such an opportunity and there's so much need that's pent up, that if you're willing to go to the places where the needs are greatest, you're going to do really well. So listen to me on this one. There's a lot of money to be made, but you have to do it right. And in order to do it right, you have to fish when the fish are biting, and you have to go where the fish are. A lot of people want to, well, if I can only work in this area and I only want these hours, you're not ready to make money. You want to work. And if you want to shortcut it, you're not ready to make money. You need to go to the seminars, find out what the rules are. The rules of engagement are this: if you're going to play any game, you got to know what the rules are. Where are the boundaries? How do we play this game? And if I get outside, what's going to happen? So you got to learn all of the rules before you can start doing anything that's going to bump the lines, because you got to know where the lines are. A lot of people never take the time to study what it is that they're participating in. And since this is the government, then there are a lot of controls. But if you have the discipline to do it right, I'm telling you, you could build a platform. Now, remember that, write that down: platform. Platform is very important, because if you're ever going to exit, you're going to have to build a platform. This is for the entrepreneur out there. Now, if you want to just be an employee, I could tell you this is a great way to learn to be a good employee, is to look at what it would take to be an owner or an entrepreneur. And what would an entrepreneur want? Well, the number one thing, especially when you're dealing with anything that has to do with government, and especially the feds, and the feds are involved, and even though DentiCal is state administered program is actually half funded by the Fed. So it's a federal program, and the federal guidelines and the state guidelines lay out how you have to do it. You learn the rules and the guidelines, and you play within there, and this is a good one here. The path of least resistance. I'll tell you, that'll make you a hell of a lot of money. Follow the path of least resistance. If you know what the rules are and you play by the rule, right there, you're in the path of least resistance. You start getting outside of those rules, you're going to get some resistance. You're going to get called in, and that's going to slow you down. You're going to get this, you're going to get, and then if you have someone that's working with you or working for you, now you have to monitor their behavior, because if they get outside, now it clips you, and now you're held back. So I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur, you're not only responsible for yourself, but also the people that are working for you. But it's going to get a lot easier now that the provider reimbursement is increased. Now you have a larger selection pool. That's important, because when you have just a few people to pull from, then you get this attitude, oh, I'm going to be late today, I'm not going to show up, blah, blah, blah. But when there's enough that they're dispensable, then people start to act differently. I'm telling you, doctors, and I've worked with many of you, and not trying to say anything negative, but of course, if I only have just a few doctors to choose from, they start to treat me any kind of manner. But now it starts to open up. Now I have a larger selection pool, and if you say, well, I don't feel like this or that, don't worry about it. I got somebody else to replace you anyway. And that's the way you really keep everything rolling, because there are certain things that are acceptable, and then there's unacceptable. And that's another one to remember. It's a good word to use when you're talking to yourself, or you're talking to your employees, and even considering what's acceptable for insurance, Medicaid, whatever. You have to know what's acceptable and what's unacceptable. But I'm telling you, Peter Drucker, the father of modern business management, he said an entrepreneur is obligated to seek out change and exploit it for opportunity. Think about that. You're obligated. If you're an entrepreneur, you're obligated to seek out change and exploit it for opportunity. Right now, the opportunity exists because the change has already happened, such a positive change that it's hard to ignore. There's such a positive change. You have to go for it. And if you don't understand it, this is a game that I'm an expert at. I'll tell you, this is what has really given me, it made me rich. And I'm telling you, I really didn't expect it. I went in expecting to just grow and help more people, as say, you can have anything that you want if you could help other people have what they want. And that one, what's his name, Zig Ziglar, you can have anything you want if you could help enough other people have what they want. So now you're expanding, but in order to do so, you have to have systems and build a platform so that it's like a business franchise format, and you can rubber stamp it and do one here and one there, and all of them operate pretty much the same. That way you have standardized expectations. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to share more and more with you, but I don't want to go too long on these videos. So let me get back to you with some more, but for now, this is what you need to do if you're even considering really jumping out there and making some money in California right now. Take a look at this. Medicaid is starting to happen.